Hi, my name is Mike, and when I was much younger, I worked as a wedding DJ. It was a lot of fun. It was a great part-time job for a student, and I got to see a lot of people begin their new lives together. There were a few things I could always count on. Laughter, family, food, great music, and a rocking party on the dance floor, sure, but also family and cultural traditions being passed on from generation to generation. One of my favorites is something some brides did, wearing something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. One day I thought, what if we could do the same thing with music? Make a playlist based on this. Well, we can and we did, and this is Wedding Music, your 4-song microburst of musical awesomeness.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Wedding Music, shot here at Red Rum Records Live in South Surrey, White Rock. My name is Mike. I'm your host for this 4-song journey into musical excellence. In 1963, a man who would become a legend played his first show in Winnipeg. That man's name is Neil Young, and even today he is still making music that is relevant, important, and talks about the world as it is and how he sees it. There are so many great songs to choose from Neil Young, but we're going to go with one of my favorite classics, Hey Hey My, off of this album right here. This is one of the albums I grew up listening to, and to me it's still one of his best albums. And if you're not a fan of Neil Young, you've never really listened to a lot of Neil Young, this is a great way to get into Neil Young and really to learn why he is the legend that he is. Our next song is by an artist named Nathaniel Rateliff. Now, you might know him with his work with a group called the Night Sweats, but on his own, he's a very accomplished artist. His most recent album is born out of sadness and tragedy. Unfortunately, his wife and him are no longer married, and he lost one of his best friends. However, like a lot of great artists, he was able to turn his pain into genius, and we're going to play a song called Mavis. Now, the reason I like Mavis so much is if you're a fan of the group The Band, you'll know the sound of this song. To me, this song sounds like the ending of The Last Waltz. It has a timeless sound to it, and it is a really deep, touching sound. Check it out, Mavis by Nathaniel Rateliff. In February of 1962, William Bruce Rose Jr. was born. He would later go on to front one of the most successful bands in all of music history, certainly one of the preeminent acts of the late 80s and the 1990s. His name is Axl Rose, and because we're talking about covers, we're going to do Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses doing Sympathy for the Devil. In February 1942, one of the most important members of one of the most important bands of all time was born. That man's name was Brian Jones, and he was part of a group of people who formed a little band out of England called the Rolling Stones. You may have heard of them. We're going to choose something blues-based, and it's not super hard with their early music because they were a rhythm and blues band. And we're going to hear a great song off their second album called Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. And ain't that the truth in these difficult times? So for Wedding Music, my name is Mike. Thank you for joining us for another episode live at Red Rum Records in South Surrey, White Rock. Now, there are links below for all these playlists in Apple Music, Spotify, and Tidal. But for the best listening experience, we definitely recommend listening to it on vinyl. And for that, we recommend you support your local record store no matter where you are. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next episode. Sound of the Rolling Stones, and for the initial early sound of the Rolling Stones. He also invented the sound of the telephone ringing. As you can hear right now, it's become popular music that's influenced people throughout the rest of the world.
Now that you found us, don't miss a single episode and don't miss a single playlist. Like or subscribe and make sure you follow us. Tell your family, tell your friends. Heck, even if you meet strangers on the street who seem like they might like music, tell them too. Tell them about Wedding Music so we can keep bringing you awesome playlists. We'll see you next week.